This is not the place for high school graduates. If you understand, get out." John, the manager, yelled in a loud voice during the new CEO's welcome party. "I get it. I'll go," I firmly said. Then one of the men came up. "Why does the new manager not have a seat? Who is he, in your opinion?" "What?" John screamed crazily when the new CEO showed up. "Michael Sock is my name. This year, I turned 41. I had a comfortable childhood with my parents and my brother, who was 10 years my junior. My dad frequently spent the night at work, since he was a workaholic. But as a child, I must have puzzled when I saw my father cheerfully leave for work. 'What do you do for a living?' I asked my dad in passing one day. 'Well, I deliver exciting products to everyone.' 'Fantastic, Dad. I'd aspired to be just like you when I was younger.' I recall having these kinds of discussions with my father. I looked up to him. Typical days included going to school, returning home to talk to my mother, and waiting for my dad and brother to arrive. Back then, I believed it would go on forever. But during my first year of high school, everything changed. An automobile accident happened to my parents. In the hospital where she was brought, my mother died. Despite surviving, my dad had to resign from his job due to a lower body disability. My dad began using a wheelchair after that, and life got challenging. After high school, I had to go from finishing my studies to working in order to provide for my family. Don't you want to go to college, Michael? You're still a child. Don't stress over money at the moment. I'm not really sure what I want to do. I'm thinking of finding a job since I want to provide for our family. My brother was just 7 years old at the time, and I was 18. I worked hard at my career and took on the responsibility of taking care of my dad. But my dad's illness didn't get better, and things remained dire. My brother's health kept becoming worse. Yet I still found time to accompany him to see our dad. My father died a year later. I caressed my brother's head while fighting back tears. I decided to shield my brother after witnessing his tears. We moved in with our grandparents after they took us in, but because of their age, I couldn't burden them. I was better able to care for my brother than other children my age because I had handled domestic duties from an early age. As a teenager, I had no idea how much it would cost to raise my younger brother, even if my parents had left some money. I therefore made a decision to make my own money to support us and conserve the inheritance as much as possible. I worked diligently every day at a plant within commuting distance of my home, even after my dad passed away. Thankfully, I never felt inadequate about my educational background. There were other employees in the organization who were only high school graduates. Despite my initial lack of knowledge, my coworkers graciously taught me the job and looked after us without parents. I eventually developed the ability to manage the task alone as I produced various products. Ideas started popping up in my mind. It would be nice to have such a product. Maybe changing the shape here would make it easier to handle. I would jot these ideas down in a notebook and look back at them, imagining how I would feel if these products actually came to market. The thought of my product reaching someone else always excited me. It was only after I started manufacturing that I truly understood how my father felt. I was able to successfully see my brother through college. As for me, my job got on track, and I have been living a carefree, solitary life, feeling fulfilled without any particular complaints. Since joining the company last year, my work at the factory was recognized, and I was transferred to the headquarters. This year, however, at the headquarters, I've encountered my first real challenge in this company. "Hey, are you really a high school graduate?" "Yes, I am." "You're a high school graduate? That's just dead weight." What the heck was upper management thinking? What the? Well, I'll work hard. Yeah, whatever, just don't get in our way. Right after arriving at the headquarters, I felt uneasy due to John's dismissive attitude. One afternoon, as I was getting accustomed to work, I heard a snide voice while facing my computer as usual. "Hey, Alex, haven't you finished the test I gave you yet? Hurry up and get it done." When I looked up, John was peering over the desk of Alex, a colleague with a huge sigh. Alex, 10 years younger than me, was my superior. He took the responsibility of training me. Despite the awkwardness of being the older subordinate, Alex talked to me in a friendly manner. Thanks to him, I was able to fit into the department. Because he was the same age as my brother, I felt particularly concerned for him. But you were the one who suddenly dumped this task on me. Plus, this isn't even my responsibility. John snorted in disdain at Alex's displeasure. The other employees seemed to sympathize with Alex. I watched as John, seemingly displeased with Alex's response, frowned and slapped his desk. What? You can't handle such a simple task? Typical of a college dropout. Useless. I made a mistake by relying on you for this job. Alex looked puzzled by John's mocking tone. The others were also glancing at them, and I was nervous about the tense atmosphere. Although Alex did not graduate from college and join this company, to me, just entering college is an achievement. But for someone who values academic success like John, it seems to be a reason for scorn. The bad vibe between them was getting worse. The other employees were concerned but remained silent, knowing that speaking up could draw John's ire. I was one of them, wondering what to do. Yes, the recent cause of my worry has been none other than John. He graduated from a prestigious national university and is proud of his own grades. Moreover, it seems he is the son of an executive and made rapid career advancements thanks to that. However, while he seems convinced of his own talent, he looks down on others. He clearly flatters those with educational backgrounds equal to or higher than his own. Conversely, he adopts a haughty attitude toward those of us with lower educational qualifications. I hadn't heard good things about him while working in the factory, but meeting John in person was worse than I imagined. John, I just finished my task, so I can help Alex with his work. Unable to bear the hostile atmosphere in the department, I deliberately tried to change the mood by stepping in between John and Alex. However, John frowned even more, displeased at my intervention. From a college dropout to a high school graduate. Isn't that even worse? Don't we have anyone more competent? Am I not capable enough? What can a high school graduate like you do? When low education people gather, their capabilities are limited. I wanted to resolve things peacefully, but it seemed John really disliked me intervening in the conversation. He pointed at me and continued with his biting remarks. He turned his annoying gaze toward me while twisting his face. The problem with John is his high educational background, which gives him considerable confidence in his own credentials. It would have been fine if it stopped there, but it seems John does not want to acknowledge those with lesser academic qualifications. Ignoring anything I say, he assigns unreasonable tasks to employees with lower education or speaks to them confrontationally as he pleases. Of course, being a high school graduate, I was no exception. From the day I joined, it seemed John had decided my rank in his mind upon learning I was a high school graduate. Alex, just hurry up and finish your work. Michael, you don't have to do anything. There's no job here for someone at the bottom of the ladder, in both position and education. While heading back to my desk, John buttered this loud enough for me to hear. I almost sighed but held it back, pretending not to hear. I had to focus on my work, or the anger toward John would overwhelm me. Sure, I'm a high school graduate, but John was the first to mock me so openly about it in this company. Since my time in the factory, there's been no distinction based on educational background. We are evaluated on our work and attitude. That's why I was able to be promoted. It's the company's policy. Other employees were also perplexed by John's academic elitism. However, that was only at the beginning. Recently, they have gotten used to his attitude. Engaging with it is just a waste of time. However, the problem is that John behaves the same way towards other employees. I wasn't complex about my education, but some employees, including Alex, were concerned about theirs. I haven't heard the details, but it seems Alex couldn't go to the university he wanted. Every time John mentioned educational background, Alex seemed to get depressed. Thus, many employees found it difficult to work or felt mentally drained due to John's remarks. That day, Alex seemed truly lost, ridiculed again for his education. When I invited him to lunch during the break, as expected, Alex looked disheartened. Alex is a straightforward and eager young man. His serious nature seems to cause him such distress. Everyone knows how hard you work. Alex, I might not be much help, but I can at least listen. You can count on me anytime. Michael, just hearing that from you is a big support. Thank you so much. Even though he thanked me cheerfully, seeing Alex's drooping figure pained me. He's always hardworking and considerate, clearly a good person. It would be such a waste for someone like him to be ruined by John. John can be confident in his education. He probably worked hard in ways I can't imagine in university and elsewhere. However, I wish he would stop undermining other employees. I could somewhat understand if he ridiculed people like me, who are not very invested in our educational background. But it was utterly unacceptable to belittle the lives of hard-working individuals like Alex by using education as a fault. I clenched my jaw, thinking something must be done about John. Then one day, it was announced that the current president would retire and his son would take over as the new president. To commemorate the inauguration, a new product was to be created and presented at the inauguration party. The change of president was only the second time in the company's history, and the entire office was abuzz with excitement over this major event. The former president, now the chairman, was also going to attend the party, making the senior management more enthusiastic than usual. We were informed at a morning meeting that the new product ideas would be solicited from within the company. The selection would be made through a presentation in front of the executives, with the best idea being awarded and actually produced. The winning employee would receive personal recognition from the new president. My product could actually hit the shelves, something I had never even dreamed of while working in the factory. I felt a step closer to that dream. If I were selected for this event, my career advancement would certainly be fast-tracked. I was greatly excited by such a generous initiative. As I was pondering various ideas in my head, Alex from the next desk spoke to me. Michael, are you going to apply for the new product selection mentioned in the morning meeting? I'm not sure. Newbies like me would probably get laughed at if we apply. I vaguely responded. In front of other employees, truthfully, I was eager to participate, but I lacked confidence in my product ideas. Could someone like me really take part in such a major company event? Such negative thoughts dominated my mind. Hearing my response, Alex leaned in eagerly. You absolutely should apply, Michael, Alex passionately argued. He originally joined the company out of love for our products and a desire to be involved in product development. He was a man with a passion for the company above most. Alex's encouragement probably stemmed from having seen my notebook full of ideas. Indeed, this event was a great opportunity. I was grateful just to be working at headquarters, and now I had such a chance. My desire to take on the challenge was mixed with hesitation to take the first step. Perhaps sensing my internal struggle, Alex took my hand and pushed me forward. You should definitely try, and please let me help if you do. Alex's eyes were full of determination. Nobody can come up with dream-filled products like you, Michael. Have more confidence. Let's create something exciting together. Alex's words struck a chord with me. That's right. I remembered my father's words. For years, I worked tirelessly for my family and brother. I didn't hate it, nor did I regret it. But in doing so, my desire to create products that excite people like my father had been buried deep inside me. Alex's passion surprised and awakened me. Thanks, Alex. I'll apply. That's when I decided to submit my application for the event. Please let me help too, Alex said, eager to contribute. Given the event's significance, many employees were preparing their own submissions. In this context, Alex's genuine desire to contribute to the company was admirable. It was clear he sincerely wanted to support me. Really? How about we propose it together then? I asked. I'm fine with just helping you. I want to support you with all my strength, Alex said, shaking his head at my suggestion. This submission would be mine alone. He wasn't offering help to claim any credit. He truly wanted to back me up. Moved by Alex's earnestness, I felt even more motivated. Thank you. I'll give my best shot. Alex's eyes sparkled as he extended his hand. Yes, Michael. Let's give our all together. And so, Alex and I decided to apply for the event. The selection was a month away. The chosen employee would be recognized at the new president's inauguration party the following week, between regular duties. We busied ourselves with preparing the presentation and creating materials for the new product. My work hours were extended due to the increased workload, but I found the experience enjoyable. We exchanged opinions, debating back and forth about what could work and what might not. There were times when I worried about my stamina due to my age, but I would think of my father and motivate myself. Most importantly, Alex was always there, working hard beside me. I couldn't afford to give up. Whenever I felt doubtful, thinking, am I good enough? Alex was there to encourage me. Watching him tirelessly work on the materials, rubbing his sleepy eyes, my desire for our product to be on the shelves grew even stronger. The employees in our department were all supportive of our efforts. Some even brought us snacks during overtime or offered advice, making me feel the warmth of the people around us. However, not everyone was supportive. Some were clearly envious, already useless, and now doing unnecessary things. Can't you do something actually useful for the company? John seemed displeased with Alex and me participating in the event, frequently showering us with sarcasm. He even increased our workload, seeming to disrupt our presentation preparations. Despite this, we managed to get by with the help of our colleagues, though it was outrageous to have a superior obstructing a subordinate's work. Regardless of what John did, the enthusiasm Alex and I shared didn't wane. If anything, it fueled our desire to prove him wrong. On the night before the presentation, we were working late. Here's some coffee for you. Good luck tomorrow, President Ken. Thank you. I'm not the president anymore. I'm the chairman now. But you're applying, right? Yes, I plan to. Well, do your best. While Alex and I were making final checks at the office, the chairman himself came with coffee. Even then, he visited the company, showing care for us employees, offering drinks to regular staff who were working late like us. The chairman patted my shoulder with a smile and left the room. The next day, the selection meeting took place. Including me, there were over a dozen applicants. Alex came to support me as an audience member, and surprisingly, John was also present. Feeling a bit nervous under everyone's gaze, I managed to speak confidently without mistakes. The idea notebook I had filled during my factory days was now being shared with others. Profoundly satisfying moment. I was able to convey the full potential of my product to the judges, completing the presentation satisfactorily. But I wasn't the only one who had worked hard. All the employees showed great passion for their projects, making the selection lively and educational. I found myself captivated by the other presenters' products. Finally, the moment of the results announcement arrived. The product to be commercialized is the one designed by Michael. Suddenly, my name was called. For a moment, I was bewildered, hearing the cheers around me. Reality slowly sank in. My product was going to be on the shelves. Tears naturally flowed as I realized the result of all my efforts. Michael, congratulations. We did it. Thank you. It's all thanks to you, Alex. Overwhelmed with joy, I rushed to Alex after the announcement, and we shared a heartfelt embrace. Alex must have been incredibly happy as well, tears shimmering lightly her eyes from the joy. Then, an unpleasant voice cut through the warm atmosphere from behind. Poof! Just got lucky, didn't you? Means nothing if it doesn't sell. Turning around at John's cold voice, we found him with a dissatisfied expression. His voice dripping with disdain for our efforts made my brow furrow. Normally, I would let it slide, but the emotions of the moment made it impossible to ignore. Feeling as though our hard work was being negated, I was irate. What did he think of our efforts? What had we ever done to him? Reaching my limit, I faced John and spoke calmly. Perhaps you should have applied, John. This is something Alex and I earned through our abilities, not luck. Seemingly not expecting a retort from me, John was momentarily taken aback by my assertiveness. It made sense. After all, I had never challenged him before. Fearing the deterioration of our relationship, I had always tried to avoid unnecessary conflicts by complying with his demands as much as possible. But this was something I couldn't let go. John quickly regained his composure, clicking his tongue in annoyance. It doesn't matter if it gets commercialized. It's pointless if it doesn't sell. Hope it doesn't end up a disaster. He left with a parting shot and hastily retreated. Thank you for standing up, Michael. It's really infuriating. I won't forgive him, and there's no way your product won't sell. I guarantee it. Thanks, Alex. After John left, Alex cried and spoke up. It felt like a dampener on our celebratory day. It was unfair for the day to end on such a sour note. Just as I was about to suggest we go out for a drink to lift our spirits, I heard a voice. Excuse me. The office door opened with a click. Turning around, I saw the chairman. Michael, congratulations today. Do you have a moment? A week after the presentation, along with the new president's inauguration party, a significant ripple was announced. Of course, our department was also affected by the personnel changes. Relations with John had been at their worst since the day of my rebuttal. He seemed particularly offended by my defiance. John began to mock my education more than ever. On top of his usual sarcasm, he escalated his harassment by increasing my workload. I was honestly troubled. I hoped that personnel changes would somehow improve the situation with John. With these thoughts, I headed to the office as usual and dressed up for party. Each department had designated seating, and the new president's speech was scheduled to begin shortly. I had to step away from my seat for a while due to preparations for the new product announcement. Returning to my seat, I noticed an unsettled atmosphere among my colleagues. Michael, I'm so sorry I wasn't watching and this happened. Alex, along with other employees, looked anxiously in my direction. Curious, I looked toward my seat and realized my place was the only one without any food prepared. Confused by the situation, I noticed John returning with a sneering smile, holding what appeared to be an empty plate where food once was. Hey, John, what are you doing? I asked him as I approached quickly and raised my voice. However, he shrugged off my hand and looked at me with his usual smug expression. A high school graduate like you doesn't belong here, got it? Now get out. His outburst surprised Alex beside me, whose eyes widened. John, seeming pleased with his reaction, confidently pointed at me. There's no place here for a high school graduate like you. You'll just dumb us down. You're fired. Noticing his slightly flushed face, I realized he was drunk. His words left me open-mouthed, not because I took them seriously, but out of astonishment. I doubted John had the authority to fire anyone. He must have been speaking out of momentary emotion, and he was under a significant misapprehension. Understood. I'll leave, I said firmly. At that moment, a man approached. Why is there no seat for the new manager? Who do you think he is? The commotion had apparently attracted attention. The new president approached, then surveyed the scene, spotting John and finally fixing his gaze on me. It's been a while, Manager Michael. I was surprised to hear he was addressing me. It's all thanks to Alex. John was visibly flustered upon seeing us talking amicably. But Michael is just a low level. What are you talking about? This man is the son of the company's founder and the first president, the new president clarified, causing a ripple of shock among the employees. John gave in disbelief. Well, the impressive one was my father, not me. I'm just another employee, but you're a high school graduate. Michael is the chairman's nephew. I didn't know that. Of course you didn't, the president replied. It was a fact known only to a few in upper management, and obviously, Michael earned this project through his and Alex's combined efforts and skills. John was left mumbling, dumbfounded. In reality, the company's founder was my late father. After his death, his brother, the current chairman, took over. The new president is the chairman's son, my cousin. When I decided to work after high school, I begged my father to let me work in his company. All right, I'm proud of my employees. They will surely welcome you, he said. In exchange for getting a job, I made a promise to my father. Remember, never reveal you're my son. Succeed on your own merit. At the time, I didn't fully grasp his words, but now I understand. Being granted status or power without the requisite abilities can lead to arrogance and forgetfulness to strive. My father didn't want me to become that kind of person. Thanks to this, I was able to climb the ranks on my own merit, achieving results in the company my father built. It felt incredibly satisfying. The chairman had often suggested I work at the headquarters, but I always declined. I wanted to achieve results based on my own abilities, not through my father's or uncle's influence. With Alex's help, I was able to win an award within the company based on my own merits. What the heck? How can a low-educated guy like you be above me? That's just not right. John couldn't believe he was now beneath me in rank. He was shaking, his lips quivering with agitation. However, Alex raised his eyebrows sternly in response. It doesn't matter who's above or below. What's important is character. Something you seem to lack, doesn't it? The new president continued. Michael has dedicated himself to this company tirelessly. He is well respected and trusted by his subordinates. Therefore, it has been decided that he will be the new head of the product planning department through this change. Are you protecting this guy, President? John lashed out. He's just a high school graduate and a disappointment. I am the head of the product planning department. You will be moving to the inspection department, the president declared. John, unable to accept the personnel change, lashed out again. He couldn't bear the thought of someone he deemed inferior taking over his position. The inspection department was considered a sideline in our company, a demotion from the fast track. This is unacceptable. Why me? I had felt the same way when I first heard about this from the chairman. I thought I had been sincerely dedicated to my work, but never imagined I would be chosen as a manager. While I remained silent, the chairman approached and stood in front of John. It's because I advised my son to do so. Do you have a problem with that? The chairman said as he stood beside the new president. Michael is my nephew, but unlike you, who abused parental power to oppress others, he achieved this through his own efforts. As the chairman spoke, John's face turned red with trembling. Alex turned to me and showed a thankful expression on his face. No matter what, I intend to follow you, Manager Michael. His words warmed my heart. The other employees, having witnessed the entire scene, erupted into applause. Throughout my life, I felt I was always the one supporting others. Somehow, I convinced myself that was my role, even in my own life, and I had given up on my dreams. Maybe somewhere deep down, I was also concerned about my educational background. But now, being recognized and blessed with warm words, I realized many people had been watching me. John, even after hearing these voices, still thought I was unfit to be a manager. Do you still think he is not fit to be a manager? The new president questioned him. John was left speechless. Congratulations on your appointment, Michael. I look forward to your future contributions. With the chairman's voice, the room filled with applause once again. Afterward, John left the company. There was no formal dismissal. It seemed he lost his will to continue after being outranked by someone he deemed inferior. Staying would have only meant facing disdain and discomfort at work. Despite his attempt to find new employment, John's history of looking down on others based on their education led to failed relationships and short-lived jobs. Now, it seems he is being supported by his parents and has withdrawn to his home. As for me, I was promoted to manager, and though busy, I'm living fulfilling days. Michael, how about a drink tonight? Sure, I'm in. Now, I am working diligently with my team, including Alex, to create better products. People notice our efforts. We are all busy working to introduce our new products to the world. This happiness is not solely my own achievement. Just as I have been there for others, there are those who have supported me. I aim to continue producing products that excite many people, without arrogance and with humility, in my new role.